7 años tuvieron que esperar los fans de Daredevil para volver a ver la mejor serie de superhéroes. También fue intensa la espera para Charlie Cox y para Vincent D'Onofrio, que volvieron con todo. Y para estar a la altura de estas circunstancias, Disney me invitó a un evento 100% inspirado en Daredevil Born Again, con juegos y actividades vinculadas a la serie, justo después de haber hablado con sus directores. Que aunque dicen que no hace falta haber visto nada para poder ver Daredevil Born Again, está claro que esa primera escena no fue una más ni para los fanáticos ni para ellos, que dicen que esto significa para Matt Murdock, y que así fue que los inspiró para empezar con un contundente plano secuencia.
We now return to Mira Akien and Contre with our latest interview.
Actually, you could come in cold if you wanted to. You really can. You know, what's always helpful is watching the Netflix show. That was a huge inspiration. There's, you know, a lot of through lines from there, but it was designed to be relatively standalone from coming in on episode 1. You know, you will understand the entire story from there.
Tell me about having Vincent and Charlie back for this show.
Yeah, I mean, here, first off, I would challenge anyone to try to imagine a Daredevil show without those two at this point. You know, it's a weird idea, right? Who on earth plays Kingpin? Yeah. But I think we showed up to learn from them, both as directors and as actors ourselves and all of that. We got given the keys to the kingdom in terms of we got to ask them all of their secrets. And we know their secrets, not all of them. I mean, we got to ask after anything and they would tell us anything. And so many doors opened in our minds when we were just being able to realize, like, that thing that felt like magic on camera, it simultaneously is magic, and also it is like a deeply thought out part of their process. And you can see where that came from and bring it into your own life. And it's a blessing. It was one of the reasons we wanted to work on this show, besides our love of Daredevil, is we get to learn from the best.
Thank you for finding the time. I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again.
I want to ask you about Michael Gandolfini, because this is a show with a mobster, and he is the son of an actor who played one of the mobsters in the history of TV. So did you discuss with him about The Sopranos, or maybe taking things from that show for his character? How was that, working with him?
Just talk about working with Michael. He is, God, he is just the warmest, loveliest, smartest young man, and he is the set mascot.
Yeah.
Is it what you say? Like,
yeah.
He's like
the secret weapon where
he comes on set.
Behaves
those days, like, people like look forward to those days when he's on set. He has this levity and this like joyous spirit to him, and he's funny.
Yeah,
he's
easy
funny,
to direct.
Man.
He has no ego whatsoever, but he also doesn't need direction because he's great, you know. And it's working with him is a dream. He is. I'm excited for people to see like who he's actually playing, you know, and where that character goes. Because he's quite different from anything related to The Sopranos, you know, as you've already seen. And yet he's perfectly cast.
I'll tell you something funny. Is like, you know, production's hard. Days are really, really, really long. And like half the time when we end a day with him, you get home and you'll find on your phone you have a text from him.
Yeah.
And it is the nicest thing. Like all of a sudden you're just like, okay, I'm not tired anymore.
Yeah,
like this is like
nice.
Just like he's so thoughtful, such a nice kid.
Spoiler alert, you have one huge death at the beginning of the show.
He said someone's looking.
I want to ask you, why did you choose to kill that character, and if you have any pushback because of you choose to kill that character?
Well, first off, that would be a question for Dario, our showrunner. But I will also say that when we came onto the show, that was a decision that had already been made. So instead of shying away from it, we make it a core thing that happens to of course, it would change our main character so much, and it makes it his entire journey through the season is learning what to do about this and the consequences of that. Of course, I'm still trying to be vague. We don't know how spoiler territory we're in, but just trying to make sure that it didn't just happen. It happened and it changed everything. And that's kind of the spirit of the whole show, is like, it's a succession of the Netflix show, and yet it's also totally its own new story and totally its own new thing. It wouldn't make sense as a season 4 exactly. It feels like it is a Born Again idea.
Yeah.
Why did you stop being a vigilante?
The line was crossed.
It makes a huge statement, and you have to match that with like the technique. And I think that very first scene with that single shot is superb. So I want to ask you about doing that. Tell me, how do you develop that? I don't know, rehearse that. Tell me, let's talk about that sequence in particular.
Yeah, I mean, even though we're saying yes, it is correct, you can go into this show cold. We ourselves are huge fans of the Netflix show and the things that they did with Oneers, and thus this show, we had to come with it with a really cool Oneer. That's the tradition of the show. And as filmmakers, we love Oneers. It's rare that you're empowered to do them in the industry at large, because
they're high risk. They can be expensive. They don't leave you with a way to edit your way out of it if it doesn't work.
And our broad philosophy on this one, the stylistic and the dramatic components that we wanted to bring to it, were that we wanted the camera to feel omniscient, and it knows what's going to happen. And thus it just moves at this steady pace, and it never strays away because it knows. And, here we have a character who is, in some ways, he's one of the very few comic book characters that you can look to who is somewhat characterized by their spirituality. So by putting an omniscient point of view on this huge moment in his life that changed him so much, and probably even spiritually to some extent, philosophically and everything, that this locked in, minimally moving frame, but just constantly moving back. And I think we had this score in our heads. The score would feel full of dread, that you just feel it. This is going to a place that was never preventable. This is fate at work, and it's dark.